Hello, welcome back to my tiny little area of the internet with my creaky little chair. My name is Caroline. I've been doing sort of a knitting podcast to try to have a chatty outlet regarding my knitting so I don't bore the pants off of my family. Here, I live in Minnesota. It's starting to get cold here. And this is just kind of like a little update. I don't think I have that much exciting stuff or that much new stuff. I don't think I have any acquisitions. I've been very good. I have signed up for something, but I haven't received anything. I'm wearing my finished cargill, wearing it with my favorite skirt, which is from a French brand called Voria. Yeah, this is my cargill. She's beautiful. The sleeves are finally not too long. This is my first sweater. My sleeves aren't too long. And what's crazy is before I blocked it, they were like here, like up here. And now they're pretty perfect. Sometimes they feel a little bit too short, but most of the time they seem good. It's just like if my hands are up, I feel like it looks a little goofy. I feel like that would happen anyway with an oversized sleeve because it's not like they like fit super tight on my wrist. I think the only thing I have to do still with this is add some elastic around the neckband. I took off my t-shirt that I was wearing because you could definitely see it. I'd like the neckband to sit a little bit higher. So I just want to add a little bit of elastic. And I have like a thick elastic, but I think I need to get the thin stuff for my sweaters. The thick elastic just kind of seems like overkill. So this is, I think, the only thing I've finished since my last episode. I've started 2 things, but I've really been trying to be more mindful in my knits, and I've tried to take the pressure off of myself to be knitting a bunch of things at once. That being said, I am knitting on 2 things right now, and I have plans to start a 3rd tomorrow, but that is only because of Christmas knits. I'm knitting both my brothers a pair of socks for Christmas. I might knit some people some frogs from Dot Pebble Knits. That's the Instagram, I think. She has a really cute frog pattern that I might knit a few of for people for Christmas. So let's get into what I am knitting right now. I have 2 projects and I'm pretty happy with them both so far. Let me just make sure my project is far enough on my needles here. The first one is my Moby sweater. I have done the yoke. I have done the, I've joined it in the round, and now I'm working on the body. I think I have at least 15 centimeters left, maybe a little less now, because I've been knitting on this all day, or for a good chunk of the day. But yeah, it's a really nice cream color. I'm really excited. I'm really excited for this sweater. I think it's going to be just perfect. This is basically why I started knitting, was sweaters like this. I started knitting, or I always said I wanted to start knitting because of my mom's fisherman sweater book by, I'm spacing on her name. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But it's a pretty iconic book. Very, like, the imagery is very 90s. I love that book so much. And I was like, that's the kind of sweater I want. But I didn't feel confident diving into it right away. I'm doing this one, but I have plans to knit at least one of the sweaters in that. Probably more, but that book is like dreams. Some of them I really don't like. They have like anchors and stuff on them, or hearts in the pattern. That's not my vibe, but maybe the anchor, but not really. I'm not really into the nautical vibes. But a lot of them are like really cool cabled designs, or one's a Gansey. I like Ganseys. I also want to knit, after knitting this, I want the Ingrid sweater as well. And probably that sweater number 18. I don't remember, but one of those as well. I feel like I'm getting into really wanting to do a lot of textured knits versus plain stockinette right now. So this is one. I think this is the end of my 3rd skein of Knitpicks Simply Wool Worsted in the shade Wanda. I have 2 more skeins caked up. I've just been caking up a couple at a time because I've decided that I'm not going to be using my Swift and ball winder on my desk. I've noticed that I got them from Knitpicks. I've noticed that they're leaving marks on my desk. My desk is an antique desk. I got it from Facebook Marketplace, and I think it is the most precious thing ever. So I am not willing to have marks on my desk. So my Swift and ball winder are in my basement. It's very spooky, but I might choose to insert some footage from my basement, so you'll see it. If I insert that footage, you'll see it. Let's see. My other project is a sock for my oldest brother. He's 30. He's 30. He has big feet. So I hope this is gonna be big enough, and I also hope it's not too big, because that tends to be my issue with socks, is that like even when I feel like I'm knitting them small, they still end up too big somehow. But this is the DRK Everyday Sock. I was planning on knitting this sock for both of my brothers, but I'm actually going to do something different for my other brother in an attempt to knit faster. But I'm just starting to heel gusset on this guy. So I've knit the whole body of the foot. I just need to do the heel gusset and the turn, and then the actual body, and then I have to do another sock. But I'm really liking this. It's Malabrigo Ultimate Sock in the shade Pocion, I think. If I'm, I don't know. Yeah, that would be my assumption. It's kind of obvious, but I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Yeah, I think this is a really cool colorway. However, I don't know how I feel about the Malabrigo sock yarn. Let me grab my pair that I knit for myself. Okay, so I have worn these out of the house, but I just feel like, can you see? Oh my gosh, how do I even show this? How like felted it is, kind of. Oh my gosh. It's not terrible, and it's not like there's any holes in it, but I just feel like, I don't know if you can even see that. Yeah. I'm just kind of surprised by how quickly it seems to have felted. Oh, that's another thing about my brother's sock. I'm knitting it in a smaller needle size. I'm not going to do that for the other one, but I'm knitting it in the smallest pair of needles I have, which are my 2mm interchangeable needles from Chowgu, part of their like tiny set. I find with that set, I think I might have them in here, but they come with 2-inch long tips, and they come with an 1-inch long tip. For me, the 1-inch long tip is unusable. It's so tiny that it hurts my fingers to attempt to knit with those. Yeah, I'm knitting them in a smaller one because I feel like my gauge wasn't super tight on these. Like I just feel like they're a bit loose, the gauge. I don't know if you can, I don't know if they are or not. Maybe it's just me thinking that. But yeah, I'm knitting them in a tighter gauge, and yeah, we'll see how these fit them. When I reknit these, it will probably be with the smaller needle size and the size down, which is the smallest size for women. I think will fit me better. Okay, those are the 2 projects I'm working on. Pretty unremarkable. I mean, the Moby sweater is really cool, and that's what I want to knit on all the time. I have not really been wanting to do this, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I actually should try to get the gusset done today, and then the heel done tomorrow, and then I would feel better about myself before I start this project. So this is going to be for my other brother, the one who lives with me. He picked this color, and I was just going to knit him those socks in this color, but then Andrea released the Bear Paw sock. Andrea Mowry of Drea Renee Knits released the Bear Paw sock pattern, and I was like, ooh, that looks nice. And I was like, I want to knit myself a pair of those, and I want to participate in the knit along challenge. I do have to work 2 of those days. I have 8-hour shifts on Friday and Saturday. I work in retail. It's Black Friday. I can't really do anything about that. But what was I gonna say? Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I am gonna attempt it. I'm not expecting that I will finish 2 socks in those 4 days, with 2 of them being work days. But I can sure as heck try, and I'll be pretty happy if I finish 1 sock. Yeah, because that'll be 1 sock that I would not have accomplished without that challenge. So I was like going through, and I had bought a bunch of this Malabrigo Ultimate Sock yarn when I first started knitting socks, because I was like, just get a bunch of cool colors. It'll make you want to knit socks, and you could have like so many cool socks. Just think about it. I think I had bought this, and then I had bought 52 weeks of socks. And this color originally, I was going to save to knit the, what is it? The honey rose, the raw honey rose socks, but I can always buy it again. I found one of my local yarn stores, Stephen B Knits, stocks this. So, and I'm willing to bet the Yarnery stocks this too in Minnesota. I know they are a Malabrigo stockist. So I can easily find it. I don't know why I'm being so like it's precious. It's not. So I was like, okay, we're going to combine these 2. Because it was either these 2 or, one second. Okay. Or these 2. And this to me is also nice. But it feels, how do I describe it? This feels like a sports team. I think there's like, what, Louisiana or something uses these colors. I think that's a little silly because we don't live in Louisiana. Like, I don't think anyone would know this. But these just feel more rich to me. And I think they'll look awesome with the marling and with like the accent toe and the stripe. I think it's gonna look so good. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm thinking gold toe and heel, blue stripe, or like, however, I think she might alternate. I'm not 100% sure. And then obviously marled. And I'm really jazzed for how these are going to turn out. I hope he likes them. If he doesn't, that's his own problem. But I tend to wear hand knit socks, I'm finding, as kind of house slippers. But I think that's partially because I haven't figured out how to knit hand knit socks that fit me super well yet. So I'm working on that because I would like to be like a hand knit sock girl, but I have to work on that. So that is what I will be knitting soon, what I'll be doing for that knit along. Sorry, my cat's making a bunch of noise. Her name's Cucumber. Oh, she's licking her catnip ball. That's what she does. She's such a weirdo. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on. That's what I will be working on. Moving on to acquisitions. One, this is not knitting related, but I got this super cool belt recently. Wait for it. What? Check that out. That looks sick as heck. It's like a circle belt, so like a Renaissance-esque circle belt, but it's like it has a little Victorian hand that hooks into the circle. It's beautiful, it's amazing, and I love it so much. It's from Thistle on Instagram. She has amazing metalworking stuff. Such a cool person. Really, really fun. Really just like all in on the aesthetic, and very unapologetically so, and I really appreciate that in a person. So I think that's really, really cool. Another thing I've gotten, ta-da! This is why there might be footage from my basement. I got in, hold on, I'll show it off. Oh, Cucumber just stole my spot. I got an Ashford Kiwi 3. Cucumber. Do you see her? She's gonna attack me. Just wait for it. I had a drop spindle. Hold on, let me grab that. Also from Ashford. But I wasn't getting super enthralled in it, and I found it was pretty slow. I have like 2 things that I still need to ply together that I spun. They're pretty bad, so don't judge me. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty bad at spinning with this too, but it's all a learning process. So this is my first, okay, That's a lie. Let me show you my very first bit of yarn that I spun. It's this tiny little single skein, and it is so sad and unhappy. It's ridiculous. It's so bad, but I like it. I love her. I will keep her. And then I spun these, and I worked less on trying to get it really thin. Like, this can be really thick yarn, because this is a single that I want to ply together with this. It's going to be super bulky. And it's pretty thick and thin still. I don't know if it's under twisted. I don't know if it's over twisted. There are areas where it's like doing little curly cues and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of practice that is needed. Cucumber, can I sit down? I don't know if she's going to let me sit down. So this is what I've done. I have yet to do anything really successful on the Kiwi, but I'm very excited about it. And there is a Weavers Guild in Minnesota that does spinning lessons, but they only offer them once every few months. And the one that's kind of close in time, the next one has already been filled up. So I'm debating signing up for the one in March, and then just messing around until then and trying to teach myself. Q. She is really feeling ferocious right now. She's going to come after me. I just know it. I know it. She's looking at me. She's looking at me. She's going to kill me. The chair is her play spot. So, yeah, so I'm kind of debating whether I want to do that or not, or whether I just want to kind of work on it. Because I'm like, if I do an absolute beginner's class in March, by then I might not be an absolute beginner. I might have kind of figured it out. But then maybe it won't be a bad thing to do that. So I'm debating. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. That one might sell out by the time I make it up my mind. You know, who knows? What else? She's staring at my hand. I'm gonna get a toy. Ugh. Play with the toy, Cucumber, not with my hand. Please and thank you. No, she's not gonna do anything. Just wait. She's too cool for the toy. She's too cool. Yeah, what else am I up to? I signed up for a weaving class. The artist who did a few of my tattoos, she did my first 3 tattoos. She is also a fiber artist. She stopped tattooing for a while to go to grad school. She really works a lot with fiber, which is super duper cool. And she was like, I think I'm gonna do weaving classes. And you bet I signed up really fast. So an intro to weaving on a loom. I'm really excited. That's in the end of January. So that's really, really exciting. Can't wait for that. Can't wait for a new craft. Catch me buying a loom, but I'd like to get spinning as kind of a thing before I get too deep into other crafts. But it'd be nice to be able to weave with my hand spun and not just knit with it, in case I never figure out how to knit or how to spin knit-worthy hand spun, especially considering I prefer knitting with finer yarns. Other things going on in my life right now. Work has been absolutely hectic, just insane. The last few weeks, it has been 12-hour days, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, constantly. Not even a moment to breathe on the weekends, because I feel like everyone is getting sick. There's like a plague coming down on my store and on all the stores in my district. So that has not been fun. I'm feeling kind of sick. And I was also dealing with some chronic pain at that point. Or I don't know. I don't think it would be described as chronic pain. I was dealing with a lot of pain because I've been having toothaches in my front incisor. And I finally reached out to my dentist about it, who is my uncle, because he had filled a cavity in that tooth and I thought it was just sensitivity. But once the weather started getting really cold and we've had some snow here, it's winter, I started getting toothaches, like really bad toothaches. At first it was like once every couple of days, and then it's kind of become once a day. So I was like, I think something's wrong with my tooth. And I had an idea. I thought it was an abscess. I didn't tell him that. I was like, I just think there's something wrong with my tooth. So he was like, okay, let's get you in. He managed to find time for me yesterday I had to go to a piercer to get my continuous septum ring taken out, because every time I go there and they ask to do x-rays, or was it, can you take out your nose ring? And I wear a continuous ring. So every single time I'm like, I can try, and then I can't get it out on my own. So this time they were like, Caroline, Cucumber, you need to let go of my skirt. This time they were like, Caroline, I need you to take it out. So I went to a piercer. I got this ugly little horseshoe boy taken out, or put in. She's looking at my hands. She's looking at my hands. So now I can take it out. But I went there, they did x-rays, they couldn't see anything. So we're talking about it, and I'm describing it, and he says, I think you're getting an abscess. And yeah, so I'm on antibiotics for the next 5 days, and then we just went ahead and scheduled me for a root canal end of January. Basically my fear. So I was worried I was going to lose the tooth. I think a root canal is basically losing the tooth, because I think they have to cap it somehow. So that's not going to be fun. But maybe the antibiotics will quell whatever infection is happening, but I'm not 100% sure. So that's kind of been my life. It's been pretty chaotic, but knitting's here for me. I'll probably put some footage in. I bought my Kiwi unfinished, so there's a lot of footage of me waxing it. I was going to varnish it or lacquer it, but I decided to just use the finishing wax. Like, the woods are different colors because the woods are made of, it's like different materials for different parts. Specifically the wheel and the bobbins, I think. But I think it looks nice. I did 3 layers at least on all the parts, and then some bits I did a little more. And then I assembled it, and oh boy, was that an experience. You could tell that they were like trying for IKEA simplicity, but they did not succeed in that. They did not. So I have some videos of me ranting and raving about that. I also have a lot of notes on my Ravelry, which I'll try to remember to link in the show notes, on the Moby sweater, because I think that pattern is not one of Petite Knit's finest. I'm aware I've not knit that many Petite Knit patterns, but it's okay. It's a little confusing. I figured it out, I think, but there's definitely some confusion even amongst the Ravelry of like when to stop doing the short row shaping, when to do, oh my gosh, she's ferocious, when to do like other things. Yeah, people are just confused. And everyone's like, yeah, I think this is what she means. And I don't know. I couldn't tell you, because she uses pretty vague language. And then she, the chart says something else based on what she's saying. So it's just, I don't know. It's interesting, but I'm working my way through it. I will have a sweater at the end of the day, and I'm happy about that. I just don't know. Cucumber, you're going to break your other canine on this thing. That is not safe. I'm going to stop. She has 1 canine missing already. I like your second canine. I want you to keep it, little Miss Snaggletooth. I want you to keep it. God. Yeah, so I don't think this is like, would be a very good beginner project with short rows and all that jazz. And that is my consensus on that. Cool. I don't really know what else to say. I'll probably make another one of these in a couple weeks, or maybe I'll do a little knit and chat or something if I wanted to post more. If you're watching, thank you for watching. I don't think a lot of people watch this, but I have fun anyway, and I mostly ignore it once it's out in the world, so I don't really have to think about it. I have a couple, I think I have a video of Cucumber that I'll maybe insert too, if you want to see Cucumber in all of her adorable glory. She's a really sweet cat sometimes, and then sometimes she's like this. So Great. Well, till next time, maybe I'll have some spinning news. Maybe I'll have finally plied this. I think I'm going to give it to, wow, this is such a Minnesotan goodbye. I think I'm going to give it to one of my friends who wants to get into fiber art stuff. And I was tempted to keep it because it'd be my first skein or whatever, but I would rather it go to someone who will use it. And if Kat thinks that they'll use it, then I'll give it to them. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe I'll finally apply it. Maybe I'll apply it with this guy, but maybe that'll destroy it because this guy went through a lot less pressure than I think that guy would put it through. So I don't know what I'm going to do, but I at least have bobbins now to apply it from. So maybe I can apply it onto my drop spindle now that I own bobbins. That would be helpful. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to leave you all here. I hope you have a lovely, if you're in the United States, I hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is on Thursday and today is Tuesday. I'm seeing some friends from high school tomorrow night and I'm really excited about that. We really only see each other like once a year because they've all moved around a bunch. And yeah, it should be a nice week. We're heading into the holidays. I hope everyone is ready with their gift knitting and all of that jazz. Or thinking about it, not putting too much pressure on themselves. I'm trying to relieve some pressure for myself. There's plenty of time to get it done. Yeah. All right. I hope everyone has a nice week. Goodbye. Okay, it is finally time. This thing has been sitting in my basement, disassembled probably for a week and a half now. So it's finally time for me to start assembling it. I don't think I'm going to get all of it done tonight, but I'm going to try. So far, I've done a couple things. I think I put together the flyer correctly with the hooks and a bobbin on there and the whirl on there. And now I think I'm working on the little foot pedals, the treadle. So far what I'm finding is they do a pretty good job of identifying what hardware you're supposed to use. They have like full-size little models of all the hardware, so you hold it up to make sure you're using the right thing, which is really nice. What I'm finding that I don't think they do a very good job of is identifying what each piece is to make sure that you're using the correct piece. Like this piece, I just had to like count the holes and figure it out because there are a few pieces that are just rectangles with a bunch of holes in them. So I was like, I don't know which one I'm supposed to be using for this. I'm pretty sure I'm right. I guess we'll find out if I'm not. But yeah, I'm watching The Raincoat Killer on Netflix. It's in Korean, so we'll see if I can focus on that and understand it while I'm doing this. It might be a little too much for my brain to handle, but yeah, I'm gonna do that for a little bit. And I can't record while watching things on my phone, and I record on my phone. So yeah, I'll check back in. Okay, I immediately kind of had to recheck in to emphasize my point in that they don't clarify which pieces you're actually using to put together at this moment. The current instruction that I'm on, my third instruction, is this, and they say, what does it say? Loosely attach the front feet to the treadle rail with 50mm bolts and barrel nuts, blah, 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 blah. They say other things. That's not the problem. I know what I'm supposed to be using. I know it's this piece, but they don't show it very clearly. Like they show how it connects, which is nice, but they don't say like, this is the piece that you're using. It's right here. And I don't think the pieces were labeled at all. Maybe they were, but because I bought an unfinished version, I had to take them all out of their packaging and wax them all. I waxed them a total of 3 times. Some things more, like the actual wheel itself, I waxed more than that, the inside bits. But yeah, that's the frustration I'm running into, because like this is I guess what's called the front foot, and I'm guessing this is called the rear foot, but they aren't labeled. How am I supposed to know that? I'm not an idiot. I can figure it out. But I don't think people would be idiots if they didn't figure it out correctly the first time around. So, yeah. I think there's a video on Ashford's YouTube on how to assemble this, maybe. And if there is, maybe watch it. I'm not going to. So, okay. I definitely have beef with these instructions. On the page where they have, I'm taking a break because I'm really hungry and really angry. So they have this hardware scale list, which is great. They don't have a list of all the pieces of the machine, as I've already said. The machine, the thing, you know, the wheel that you have to use. But my other thing is on that wheel scale hardware list. They don't use any words to describe what those things are, but in the instructions, they do. So you're just reading the instructions and they're saying things like con rod joint. And I'm like, that's all well and good, but I don't know what that means because this is the first time you've ever used this term, which is just frustrating because I'm sure those mean things in terms of like people who make wheels. I'm sure they understand. So I'm like, this is a primo opportunity to provide some education and tell people what the fuck all these pieces are. All in all, I will say, I can tell they're taking an IKEA approach to this. I don't know if they would consider calling it an IKEA approach, but that's how I see it. Except they have words, and I'm like, if you're gonna have the words, I would like the words to be explained. It's really frustrating. I'm very frustrated. So I'm taking a break after they use the term con rod joint. Oh, I think I see what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, I'm taking a break. I'm gonna go make some Pocion for dinner. Probably to have with some leftover chicken from last night. And then maybe I'll get back to it, or maybe I'll go back to knitting on my Moby sweater, or maybe my brother's socks. I don't know. Okay. Bye for now.